didn't have band, she was committed to coming to a band class. Right?
I don't have any records of that to reflect on, but I can look that up and inquire.
Not if it was in a different school. You coming in for band? Is she taking band in this school?
No.
She doesn't come at all this school.
No.
Oh, okay, I was under the impression that she was coming in, so she gets.
It's as if she's enrolled, like a student who's enrolled in Elk County Catholic, they're enrolled in a separate entity.
She just wants to come and have that one activity period. Or,
I have a question, and this may be kind of far-fetched, but a student that is not part of the district cyber or that comes in person were to come to an activity during school time, say they did pickleball or did something and they got injured, how does that work for our insurance then, because they're not technically our students?
Correct. Yeah, I don't know, I'd have to ask the insurance company, I'd have to reach out.
Because like you said, if you have to open it up for one thing, you have to open it up for
yeah,
everything. So did that.
everybody else. I think it's different.
Did she ask about insurance? I couldn't quite hear.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I
There,
asked.
there, in your one policy, it covered that her school that she goes to would be required to cover that.
For extracurricular activities. Okay.
I mean, I guess just looking at it from a money standpoint, it gives you an opportunity to get some of your money back, because you can't bill them for that.
We can bill for extracurricular, but that is not considered, so we pay $15,000 to $20,000 per cyber student, that's what's removed from us to go to the cyber, that's what the cyber claims of money allocated to our district. And that's to cover the academic portion of a student's education. And if they do not have extracurricular, such as sports, like football, if a student participates, then we are allowed to have an agreement with them to recoup the money that it would have otherwise cost for that one student. I can tell you we've not been successful in recouping that money, but that's what the rules.
Would you like me to read this?
You can, I don't mind.
Ronna had responded to Eric this morning.
No,
Or
it was
yesterday?
It was last week.
Oh, okay,
It was
sorry, last week. Yes, you're correct. I see the date. Sorry, I'm just getting it fresh off the email. After reviewing the email chain, if I am understanding correctly, Hattie attends a cyber charter school and you wish for her to participate in the Wednesday activity period, band, which you interpret as an extracurricular activity. As we can agree, extracurricular activities are open to all students who reside within the district, attend an alternative public school, and do not have a comparable opportunity within their enrolled entity. In review of CCSD Policy 122, extracurricular activities, it identifies extracurricular activities as quote-unquote ordinarily including athletic activities, intramural activities, and clubs. However, it also identifies that it is conducted wholly or partly outside of the regular school day and sponsored or approved by the board and upon recommendation of the superintendent. I understand that some of these activity periods are referred to as clubs. However, they do not meet the criteria as per policy 122. They are part of our school-wide curriculum during the regular school day, which negates meeting the criteria of clubs per the policy for an extracurricular activity. If our band director wishes to create a band club as an extracurricular activity, it would be a welcomed opportunity, and I, as the superintendent, would like to partake in the development of such and present it to the board for approval. It would necessitate after-school practices and could include public performances. If you would consider either Virtual Academy throughout Waterfront or the Rocket Online program, your daughter would be considered a student of Cameron County School District and would be entitled to our curricular programs throughout our school day as well as extracurricular activities. I hope that clarifies, and if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out, which you've done. So, I don't know if you're open to any of that. Like I said, I just read it, but that's all new to me, so. Or, the only other choice, as Rhonda said, is if the board wants to look at changing the policy.
Or developing.
Or developing a
Yeah,
club.
yeah.
Which I'm not opposed to. Nothing.
So if she would want to develop a club, which would be extracurricular.
Yeah. Would that be okay? Sure. Can you talk to her about that?
And then it would go through the board approval.
Yeah.
There would be a reimbursement for
Correct.
the cost.
Right.
She was paid for it as a coach or something else. What?
Okay.
I mean, just one other quick thing,
Sure.
I mean, about the policy itself, if we're gonna exclude people, I would think you'd wanna get these kids back in the school as much as you can. Cause right now, this year, you're probably losing what, about 1.3 million kids outside the district? Those are the numbers that Brandy threw out last year per student, and I know some of that changes because you don't pay as much for some as for others.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but I mean, you're still approaching 1 million on the conservative side.
We
That's a
about-
lot of money you're giving up every year.
Every kid was at the lowest cost.
Yeah, 510,000 if the 34 that we had were at the low end of the 15,000.
With how many kids?
34 are in cyber school
Yeah, but,
or charter school.
well, I mean, but you're losing money from your kids that are going to Elk County Catholic, but you're not getting funded for them, or your homeschool kids either. If you can get them in here, even if it's just for a little bit each day, they're with friends, maybe they decide, hey, I wanna go there.
That's true. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to doing what we can do to bring them inside. I think, honestly, I think everybody needs to be inside these buildings, is my opinion. And I agree that there are some circumstances are going to warrant kids needing to be cyber schooled for whatever reason. But, and I'm just gonna say it, cause I call a spade, the ones that just don't wanna get up in the morning and think I can just stay home and work a couple
That's not
hours
true.
and be done.
That's not true.
Some of them,
Some of them, yeah.
I said, yeah, I wasn't saying all of them, I said some. There are some that do that because they think it's the easier way out. I would rather have them here. But I'm not opposed to doing what we can do to.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome, thank you for your input. Anything else from the public?
I'm Tracy Richardson out of Michigan Township. You brought up Virtual Academy and encouraged kids to sign up for Virtual Academy.
Pardon?
You brought up,
Rain, I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. You brought up about, get kids to, instead of doing outside cyber schools, doing the Virtual Academy. My son's been in Virtual Academy, this is his 4th year. Last year, except for 1 9 weeks, I had to contact the school and send several emails to Mrs. Rebo and the principal to get Cooper's report card.
No.
Then when I did get his report card, every 9 weeks, his grades were wrong. When I look back into the previous years, he didn't get a credit for a course that wasn't even on his transcript. And this has been every year since he's been in Virtual Academy, so you're encouraging people to do that, but, Virtual Academy's been around for a while. And I worked in the district in the guidance office, and I actually would take the grades from Virtual Academy and put them in the district system. Now, if, they have to have so many credits to graduate, and if they're not getting these grades correct, like, why does a parent have to contact the school on several occasions to get the grades right in there?
So
How's that being addressed?
Is that still being done by the guidance office?
Yeah, that's the guidance office that does that. And then when it comes to me, obviously I don't have access to Waterfront, so I have to go to
Yes, you do. have
No,
access to that.
I don't have access to the kids anymore. As a principal, I did. I could go through all of the kids, but when Mr. Santizo came on, I passed that on to him, and I don't
Okay.
utilize that anymore, but he does, so I do go down with him. And yes, I don't know if there are other kids that have had that experience, but because you attach me, I've been aware,
Yeah,
and
it's
I've
been,
said,
since
why?
he's been in virtual academy, why?
Why is a good question. So
Yep.
we get the stuff from them, and, I do know from back when I did pull it up, I could pull up a grade, and the parent would call me in for eligibility, was when you were there.
Yeah.
And it would have a grade, and then the parent would call and say, that's not his grade, and we'd go back in and it would be changed. So there is some communication depending on when you pull a grade.
But every 9
Every
weeks
9
for 3
weeks.
years?
Yeah, I can't speak as to why.
Okay, this is your district. You don't have answers for stuff like that, but you have answers for, why we need a new track or, why we need other stuff. But this is academics. This is somebody's grade that's gonna be graduating from this district. And it's messed up.
Can we look into what's causing it, please?
Has there been any other parents come forward with this issue?
No, because they don't know how to go in and do it. I do, because I work here.
Right, okay.
So I know how to do it.
Right.
But they don't know how to do it.
So they're
And-
just taking what's ever on the charter school academy as gospel, but the school might not be that.
Yeah, and then, so what they do is whoever puts the grades in from the district, they log into virtual, they can see every student, all their activity. They're supposed to pull the grades from there and then plug them into the school district system here. And like I said, I went back because I thought, well, they've been screwed up this whole year. And, so I went back to his previous years, I got his transcript, and then I printed out his transcript from Virtual Academy. And last year, he had an English class, wasn't even on his transcript. So who looks at these, who checks these, like?
Well, I was just gonna ask.
So you wanna encourage Virtual Academy, well, I can tell you that his teachers call him once a week. They call him once a week. Ask if he needs anything, if he has any issues. They email, they're constantly emailing. I know when Maddie did cyber school out in Colorado, same thing. Those teachers are in constant contact with the parents and with the students. They're constantly reaching out.
So who does that for us for our virtual academy?
Waterfront is the platform, and they have their own teachers.
Yeah, it's the teachers from virtual that contact. They don't get that in this district. You're lucky if you can get somebody to respond to an email.
So the system where the grades are getting put in for virtual academy, how do they get transferred over to our system? Is it a manual process or
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Are they
it is a
linked
manual
together and
process.
stuff over?
So the guidance secretary is the one assigned to pull that off, and then.
She just started doing that at the end of last year. She didn't do it before that. Mr. Santizo did.
He did it all.
No, I know because she told me that she was just given that to do last year at the end of the year. Because she wanted to check, well, I said Cooper's grades aren't right. And she couldn't fix them until she talked to him, and he was out for a week or two, and, yeah.
Are the grades wrong in the transfer or in the virtual or both?
They were wrong in the districts in CCI, or CSIU.
So when you go look at the virtual, they're all right, so the transfer is the issue?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're getting transferred to.
And he's not getting his report card. I have to contact them several times to get his report card.
Is virtual able to do like a final report where then they can't make changes and then we can get that report to put in there in case there is grades that are getting changed or a backlog or
Yeah,
something? Or some
I
kind of-
have to.
That's
just
not
because
the
I can
issue
tell.
though. It's
Or
not
some-
virtual's got their grades in there.
Well, she said that sometimes it can change, or a log.
No,
to
I've
say
never
that
had
we did it
Cooper's
on-
grades
that
change
we
in
did it
4
on
years
this date
of
and
doing
then,
it.
this date or whatever, just some type of a log to see.
Yeah. I'm gonna look into, I can't speak fluently of the process. I was under the impression the guidance, when I was there, guidance pulled them. And I'm not sure, Did they not?
No, I did when I was in there, but I don't know who did it after that. But it wasn't always the guidance secretary, and Capri told me last year at the fourth quarter, when she came to me to make sure to check on Cooper's grades, because they were wrong again, she said this was just given to me. So she didn't do it prior to that.
Yeah, I
So who
understand
did
that.
it?
Maybe would have done it, right?
Amy was the guidance secretary, and that is who
No.
I thought was doing it. But I will have to check, because that's what I thought, but I wasn't part of that, but I can check on it and follow why, and hopefully get a
Well, you as a
system in place.
superintendent should know this. You should know the process, and you should be overseeing that and make sure everything's being done. This is your district. You're the superintendent. You run the school, correct?
I am the superintendent of the district, yes.
Yeah, you run the district, correct? You oversee the day-to-day operations of the district.
Well, the principals see most of the day-to-day within their buildings.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking, is the district as overall?
I will check into it. I will follow up and check into why the system didn't work and make sure it is working.
Okay.
So, just one more question. We have a number of students that are
So
being
yes, we're
reversed.
gonna go back and
Did
check
we
them.
not-
I
Is this the first time we've ever heard of this?
No, I knew that there were some corrections that needed to be done because I was included on that student, on Cooper's. So I would follow up with Anthony why that was. So I'm going to have to follow up again and.
So if you said you thought that guidance secretary was doing it, why didn't you follow up with Mr. Santee?
Because he was attached on the email that you sent. So I went back assuming that you have been communicating with him. So I went to him and said, have you ensured that this is correct? And I would pull his transcripts and I would say, the grades aren't lining up. So I would assume he would work with guidance because guidance is the one that does the report cards. But I will follow up specifically on,
Doesn't sound like it's getting checked.
And on another
Whoever's
note,
inputting it, there's another set of eyeballs.
yeah, that's what I'm
That's what
gonna check
it
on.
sounds like.
That's what
and on another note, so the kids in the district, which I understand, they get to pick their courses in the spring for what they want for the following year. And I know that Waterfront, they don't release their, course selection in their course book until August. Well, there again, the last 2 years, I've had to go on myself onto Waterfront Learning, print out the courses, print out everything, and I've had to do Cooper's schedule, print out his transcript. He's never been called to come in and sit down with Mr. Santiso to go and select his courses. Last year, if I hadn't have contacted him, Cooper wouldn't have been able to start school when it started because he never even contacted me to get Cooper's grades in, or to pick his courses and get them inserted. And I do know that they have to be entered and requested in virtual the Wednesday before the following week in order for them to start on Monday. And it was Tuesday night and I had not heard from him, so I sent him, I did all the legwork myself, did his schedule, scanned it, sent it to him, and I said, please put these in by the end of the day tomorrow so he can start next week when everybody else does. I mean, I don't understand, this is important stuff. I mean, you know, you wanna encourage people to be in virtual, but, you know, nothing's followed up on. And if these kids are part of the Cameron County School District, that's not followed up on either. Cooper never got any contact whatsoever for prom last year. We got nothing in the mail. Nothing in the mail for school pictures this year. Granted, he's a senior, but what if I didn't have the money to get his pictures taken by somebody else? So I got a call tonight on my phone that pictures were tomorrow. That's how I found out.
Sounds like we need to improve our communication with our out of.
Especially for one that's recognized by the district.
Yes.
And Cooper's a good student. He gets up at 6:30 every morning and does his work. I mean, he works ahead of schedule. He's been on the honor roll. I mean, he's a good student.